Welcome to our training session for Sponsored Projects 4.0. We are going to be looking at the Sponsored Projects module from the perspective of our faculty member, in this case, Francis or Frankie faculty, who will be starting a new proposal record and navigating through, through the Cayuse system. So I want to start with a little bit of navigation. When you log into Sponsored Project, or when you log into Cayuse, you're going to land on this home screen. This screen is your access. That's going to get you to any other of our modules that you have a role in. So we have up in our top right corner our drop down with Frankie's name. And if we click on that, we can see the username, the institution, time zone, a link to Frankie's profile in admin, and we'll take a look at that in a moment, a link to our support site or our help center, as well as a logout button. In addition to this help center link, which actually takes you out of the Cayuse instance and takes you into our support site, in the lower right-hand corner here, we also have this big blue circle with the question mark, and that's your in-app help or your resource center for Cayuse. You'll see this display in every screen that you're on. You have announcements, some walkthroughs, as well as the ability to search our help center for articles. And as just as an example here, if I click on the walkthroughs, we have one about how to submit your COI disclosure if you have a COI module, how to select your products, which basically teaches you how to use this product dropdown we're going to talk about in a moment, how to use tasks, which is this area right here on the screen, and how to view my profile. So we're going to do that very quickly first. If we click on the walkthrough, it's going to bring up little arrows showing you what to do next. So selecting the profile name and selecting my profile. And that's going to take us to Frankie's profile within the admin module. So as faculty members, you have access to your own profile, but you will not have access to the admin data of anyone else. And we can see all the different things that are part of the profile, the units that Frankie belongs to, and her user account and the roles that she has in the system. You don't have any ability to edit or change this information. Please contact one of your administrators if you see anything that needs to be updated. So now I'm going to go back to my product dropdown and go back out to that home screen. So also here on the home screen, we have this My Tasks area. You can create a task for yourself. You can create a task for another person who has a profile in the Cayuse system. For sponsored projects, you will also see system-generated tasks display here. So as a faculty member, when you finish your proposal and you route it, you'll have a email that comes to you to remind you to certify your proposal. That's a system generated task. You'll get it as an email, and it'll also display here in the My Tasks area. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see our little logo with the home. That's going to tell you which screen you're on. You'll see when we move to sponsored projects that it says sponsored projects there, but you can return to home by clicking on that from another screen. So Frankie here has the home screen, sponsored projects, proposals, and human ethics. So she can navigate to any of those from this screen. And you'll only see things in the dropdown for which you have a role. If you should have a role in another module and you don't see that, again, please contact your administrators. And welcome to Sponsored Projects 4.0. We'll start by talking about the dashboard screen and the differences from what you saw in 3.9. Up in the top right corner, you still have those two drop downs, your own personal information drop down and the product drop down. And as I said, up here in the top left corner, we can see it now says Sponsored Projects. In Sponsored Projects 3.9, you had a home screen sort of that you landed on, and to the left-hand column of that, you had the ability to access your proposals, your awards. Now you're going to have a dashboard for proposals, a dashboard for projects, and a dashboard for awards, as well as the ability to use the in-app reporting to generate a report of your own proposals and awards that you're a part of. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. On the dashboard at the top, you start with these 7 cards. These are the different statuses that your proposal is in throughout its life cycle. Starting with in development, so that would be in 3.9 terms, those are your unsubmitted proposals or reopened proposals. So things that are in development but have not completed the routing process. Under review is your time in the routing process. Approved has finished routing but not yet been submitted to your sponsor. Submitted to sponsor is self-evident, I think. Under consideration, this may be a just-in-time or a circumstance where you've gotten a communication from the sponsor saying that you will be awarded, but maybe your notice of award isn't in yet, or they've called to discuss something about your proposal. Funded, you did it, it was successful, and your money is on its way. And closed, that's going to be the final stage when your proposal's closed, when your project as a whole is closed. It would move into the closed status. And then there are some different resolutions that your admin is going to apply to that to say why it was closed. It was funded and the project is complete. It was not funded. It was withdrawn. Anything like that, that might be a reason to close the proposal record. Down at the bottom here is a list of all of the proposals that Frankie is a part of. So right now, she has about 11 proposals that she's a part of. I have this currently set to 10 per page. That is the default. You can change that to show more per page, and then we would see all 11 of Frankie's on a single screen. If I set it back to 10, you can see there's page arrows at the bottom to move to the next page and so on. The default sorting of these is sequential, oldest at the end, newest at the beginning. But you do have the ability to search by specific parameters and filter your list to specific parameters. So for Frankie here, for example, if she wanted to only see those proposals that she's a part of, that the instrument type is an NIH grant, she would choose the search here. choose instrument type as the variable, and then type in NIH grant. And it should be filtering. Oh, because it includes the word grant. Let me try a different filter so it'll give you a little bit different of a, let's go where the prime sponsor is NIH. So we can see we put in NIH as part of the name of the prime sponsor, and it's filtered it to just those two items where the prime sponsor is NIH. So any field of the form can be searched like that and filter your list to just those. You'll see across the top here, there are 11 fields that the default shows. You do have the ability to add or to change which fields are displayed on your dashboard. It is limited to 11 fields, but it could be any 11 fields. With a few minor exceptions, you do have to have the proposal number field in there. That's how you navigate to your proposals. But basically any field that exists within the form can be brought to the dashboard. So if I wanted to bring in, you can see there's no box here at proposal number because that is required. Let's say I wanted to bring in the names of all the folks who are part of the research team. We can see that the admin unit, which I removed, we now have the members of the research team visible. So any questions about navigation of the proposals dashboard or how to get to sponsored projects? All right. So let's talk about starting a new proposal. So in Sponsored Projects 3.9, in the classic environment that you are used to, when you started a new proposal, it was standalone. You started a proposal, and then if that was funded, a project was created, an award was created. In 4.0, you're going to start by clicking this big blue Start New Proposal button. And the first thing it's going to ask you is this proposal related to an existing project or not? If the answer is that it is not, you've already created other proposals or awards on this project, and this is a new proposal part of an existing project, you would choose the second option. But for any new proposal that you're starting, that's also a new project, a new research project, you would choose the first option. And the first thing that you're going to do is enter in the title for your project. Now, this may not be the full scientific name of your project, kind of what you used to call the short name in 3.9. A lot of institutions refer to it as their colloquial name, the thing you call it between each other, whatever your institutional choice of formatting is for that. So in this case, I'm going to put in my faculty member's last name, the institute or the sponsor, and then some other identifying detail. And I'm going to create that new project and that new proposal at the same time. And this is going to bring us into the proposal form. So this is equivalent to the IPF form that you had in 3.9, with some changes, a little more up to date, a little more functionality. Up here at the top, you'll see this new proposals number, which is comprised of the project number. So in this case, 24 being the current year, 2891, and then a dash P for proposal, 0001. If you have a second proposal in the same project, P0002, etc. And later on in our second part of this video where we're talking about awards, we'll see that the first award in that same project will start A0001. Going backwards on the breadcrumb trail, this is our project level. And this is the name we just gave that project when we created this. And then going back one more, this My Active Projects would take you back to the project or the proposal dashboard. You can also return to the proposal dashboard by clicking Proposals up here. You can also navigate to the project level information, either by clicking the name of the project here or the project number over here to the right. This project number is right underneath the current status of your project, or your proposal rather. So you can see right now it's a little pale, but it does say in development. So again, this is equivalent to that unsubmitted status in Sponsor Projects 3.9. This proposal summary area will start to fill in as we answer questions in our proposal form. And then these My Actions buttons will become live when it's appropriate for those things to happen. Scrolling down on our screen, you can see over here to the right, it lets you know that all changes save automatically. You no longer need to search for the save button on a screen, and make sure that you click it before you navigate to the next screen. Each change is going to happen, and if you keep an eye on this as we start to enter data into this, you will see those. You will see that save being captured. At this time, there are still a few items in the form that are related to information being passed from your 3.9 system. So please don't think that every field that's currently in this form will be in there when you start adding proposals. Information you might not know because it isn't relevant anymore. But each time you log in, your form will be ready for you to create a new proposal record. I'm going to skip down and start here with this sponsor information. You'll notice we have fields with a little red asterisk, or if they are a search type field like this one, you see a little bar, a red bar at the end of it. That means this is a required field and you will not be able to complete submitting your proposal until all required fields are completed. For any search field, you can type in any portion of the name and it should pop up for you. And you can see when that required field is completed, that little red bar at the end will go away. Anytime you have a date field, it's going to be your typical internet date picker. You can just choose the date that is appropriate. So a lot of these fields will be familiar to you and what they're asking, but they may be in a little bit different of a format or a different place in the form than you were used to in 3.9. When you select Cayuse 424 or Cayuse proposals as your avenue of submission, it's going to pop up a little link for you where if you've already started a proposal or you're linking it to an existing proposal in Cayuse Proposals S2S, you can search by the proposal's name, or you can create a new proposal by searching for an opportunity and then linking them together, or you can go directly to Proposals S2S and create the record there. Your Proposals S2S will look the same as it did before. And then it'll give you the opportunity to create that proposal. And I just changed that answer right now, so we can look at that later. My proposal title. And then for your proposal guidelines, if you have them to attach, you can drag and drop your file, or you can click and select from your file list. So for your attachments, you will notice I can currently remove this and replace it. Once I've navigated away from this, I'm not going to be able to delete it. So if you have a new revised version that you want to update, just know that you'll still be able to add additional options to this. You can add an additional file, but once you've navigated away from it, you won't be able to remove the initial document. And I've now completed all of my required information on the general information section. I have my green check mark. Now I don't have to complete these sections in order. I can skip around, but I cannot complete submitting this until I have required check marks all the way through. I'm going to add my research team. So you'll notice this information up here. A grant specialist will complete these items. So you can ignore those when you're filling out your information. I'm going to select myself as the PI. And you'll notice it's going to show me name, email address, and primary department. So if you do have someone on your research team who shares a name with someone else at the institution, you'll be able to see their email address as well as their department to ensure that you're choosing the right person. And you can see here, Francis has two different associations to different units. So again, you just want to make sure that you're choosing the appropriate unit for the project that you're completing. We have a field here to capture credit. How much of this work is Francis doing, as well as sponsored or cost-shared effort based on Francis's appointments at the institution. She has a 9-month academic year appointment and a 2-month summer appointment. So if I put in 5%, in her academic appointment and 50% in her summer appointment, it's going to do that calculation to tell me what her total effort is. I can also add an additional member of my team. As a co-PI. There we go. If you do add someone by accident, or by the time you're ready to route, you realize that person's no longer going to be participating, you can remove them by clicking on the little trash can remove team member icon. So we're going to just quickly go through the other screens. How many budget periods, our start and end dates. We can see it's already carried over from where I entered them on the first screen. You can search using, or find it on the calendar, but you also can just manually type in the date as well. You're not limited to just using the calendar. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to say no to cost sharing, but I do want you to see that if we do include cost sharing or cash matching, if you say yes to this question, it's going to open additional fields for you to enter information or add attachments. Then we can pursue, oops, sorry, my mouse is going a little crazy there. We can proceed to completing all of the budget information. And I'm just making up numbers. Please don't worry about those. Go ahead and put in some graduate student money. All of those things are going to calculate down here. Travel, participant costs, all of those types of things. We'll just put in one, put in materials and supplies. We can see it's made all those calculations and added our fields together. Again, if we choose any other additional resources, it's going to open additional fields for us to complete. And then we have our budget template and budget justification upload point. And I'm just going to drop some sample documents in there, but do make sure that you're using the correct formats and templates of items that you're dropping. So all of our budget questions are complete. We have conflict of interest questions. I'm just going to go ahead and say no to these so we can continue through. But again, if you say yes, you may have additional questions. I'm going to say yes to human subjects, yes to have submitted. And then you'll see here, there's a link for your human ethics module. I don't know if I've actually completed yeah, I haven't actually completed one in there, so. So if you attach the IRB module, or if you attach a submission in IRB, you'll see the study number, title, approval and expiration dates, the name of the PI, and its current status. And say no to animal subjects. And as well, I'm going to say none of the above to additional research materials. But again, answering those may either trigger a new question or potentially bring an appropriate party into your routing. We have our intellectual property section. You may also see hyperlinks throughout the form. They may be something like this, which give you a link out to an email, or you may see links to policies or templates that you may need as you fill out your proposal form. Same thing on our export control. Again, these are required fields, so you do have to answer them, but you don't necessarily need to answer them in order. Additional compliance questions. Regarding overload, if we do say yes to that, we're going to ask that you identify the unit. Have our place for you to add your abstract. Any subcontractors, you can list out those institutions. And then upload the appropriate documentation, or the grant specialist will upload the appropriate documentation. Then indicating where your research will occur. This legacy proposal history screen is for our information coming out of 3.9. So you won't have anything that you need to complete on that. So I have all my check marks all the way down, and now I can route for review. This routing tab here will show you where this will go as part of its routing. Your history tab will show you as things are created and their statuses change. You can give access to another individual who's not part of your research team, maybe a departmental admin or someone like that, that might need to be able to see or edit your record while it is in an editable state. You can create tasks similar to on the home screen, but these are specific to this proposal. You can make notes about the proposal and include them here. And then all of the attachments that I added as I went through that screen are going to show here on the attachments screen with a clickable hyperlink to the area of the proposal form that they were attached, as well as the name of the document, the date and time that it was uploaded, and who uploaded it. If I have additional documentation to add that was not requested in the form, I can click this attachments list area, choose any one of the attachments that are available here in this list. And again, drop or click and upload that additional documentation. And you can see when we do that, we still see the name of the attachment, but now the attachment type that we've chosen on this tab also appears. And in place of the link to the item, we see that it was added here on the attachments tab. There's also a trash can. Anything you add at the attachments tab, you can remove. But things that were loaded within the form oops, too far there. There we go. Once we've attached them, we don't have the ability to remove them. As I said earlier, if you navigate away from that screen, they're saved and they won't be able to be removed, but I could add a new version. So we're all set. Go back to my home screen here. And now I'm ready to route this for review. Go ahead and click that route for review. And it's going to start going out to the people that are on our routing chain. You can see here in the top right that it is moved to the under review status. Just going to go back out to the dashboard. And we can see that new proposal is listed here. We can see that status as under review. And if I choose my under review status bucket up here, it's going to filter my list to just those things that are in that under review status. All right. And so now this proposal will go through its routing process and move to the admin. They may contact you for questions. You may see a task come out to you associated with this project. Those will always come by email, and you will also see them on your home screen as well. So if there are any questions about creating a new proposal or submitting it for routing, now is the time. And if not, we're going to end this portion of the recording, and we will be back soon with the award section of the recording.